Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Euro-Lebanese Medical Society fourth webinar on medical training in Europe. Since the ELMS always believed in connecting all Lebanese healthcare professionals in Europe, she is trying with these orientation webinar to help Lebanese students get an easy access to European medical training of their choice. So if you've missed the past three webinars, I invite you to visit the ELMS YouTube channel that you are connected to now and the ELMS website on eurolebanese.org to watch the reruns. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, you can type your questions in the section to your right. Tonight, we will take you on a journey through the lands of the best chocolate and the best beer worldwide, Switzerland and Germany.
So we will start with our first speaker for tonight is Dr. Charbel Habis. Dr. Habis got his medical degree from University of St. Joseph in Beirut, Lebanon. Now he is pursuing his clinical specialty in psychiatry in University Hospital of Görlitz in Germany. Dr. Habis will be introducing us to everything we need to know about the medical training in Germany. So Dr. Habis, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone. My name is Habis. I am doing, like you said, my medical residency now at Städtisches Klinikum Görlitz. It's in the eastern part of Germany. I'm gonna tell you today about the way of doing the medical equivalence and coming to Germany as Lebanese doctors. So therefore, I have prepared a PowerPoint for this that I'm gonna show you, so the steps of doing the equivalence. Okay. So the German procedure for Lebanese medical professionals and trainees. As you can see, this is the map of Germany. Germany is divided to 16 Bundesländer, or in English, federal states. And you should know that the regulations in each federal state that you see here are different. I live in this part of Germany. It's Saxony, or in German, Sachsen. So the things that I'm gonna say tonight apply to Saxon, but also apply somehow to the other federal states with a little bit of variations. I'm going to talk about the prerequisites to apply for the medical equivalence in Germany. The first contact with the authorities, appointing a legal professional Gutachter, the classic procedure with Defizitbescheid, how to apply for the visa, and then the German medical license, Berufserlaubnis or Approbation, and then the residency program characteristics. First of all, the German medical license is called Approbation. It's the thing that we aim for, the thing that the Lebanese doctor aims for. And in order to have it, you must contact the responsible authority. And you have to present these documents. First of all, you have to learn German. It's the basis of applying and coming in Germany to work as a doctor. The German language should be at least at the level of B2 of the Common European Framework of Reference. This B2 level, you can reach it in Lebanon at the Goethe Institute and do the exam. Second, you need your medical degree, the transcript of grades from university, and that is from the 1st till the 7th year. Then the Lebanese colloquium, the work permit issued by the Ministry of Public Health, a certificate of good standing, and that is also issued by the Ministry of Public Health, and another one issued by the Lebanese police, and it is Sajal Adli in Arabic, and the birth certificate. When you have these documents among others, so I think there are still some documents, and depending on the federal state, you should take them to the necessary authorities, and it's either the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Wizarة الداخلية in Lebanon, or Ministry of Education, the UNESCO. And then you should stamp these documents. Then stamp them by the Ministry of External Affairs, Wizarة الخارجية. Then translate them to German. The translation should be by a translator that is recognized by the German embassy in Beirut. So not any translator, I guess, is recognized. And then legalized by the German embassy in Beirut. Once you have the legalization of the German embassy, then your documents are valid in Germany, but not before. Okay, so now you have your documents and you are aiming to take the Approbation. It's the German medical license. So here you have to do your contact to the responsible authority. It's depending on every federal state. For example, in Saxony, where I live, the authority is named Landesdirektion. You should submit your documents. It's either per post or personally. Personally, so coming to Germany, taking an appointment and giving your documents, or per post from Lebanon with DHL or another service. And then they receive your documents and a decision should be made. And here you have, it's very important to know that you have two pathways. It's either to undergo the whole equivalence procedure, and that's what I did, or applying a legal professional Gutachter. Undergo the whole equivalence procedure means that you must do two exams. The first one is the medical language exam, or Fachsprachenprüfung in German, and then you get the Berufserlaubnis. And then doing the medical knowledge exam is the Kenntnisprüfung that allows you to have the Approbation, and that's what we aim for, the medical license. Or appointing a legal professional Gutachter. In this way, you say, I don't want to do this exam. I want to present all my papers plus the curriculum of the subjects that I studied at university, and I want the Approbation. So here you have three results. It's either that the Gutachter tells you, okay, your medical studies in Lebanon is equivalent, and here you are granted the Approbation, or he tells you, I approve, but there are some requirements, some extra courses that you should take, or some extra small exams that you should do, or not approved at all. If not approved at all, then you go back to this procedure. However, if approved with some requirements or just approved, then you should still do the Fachsprachenprüfung or the medical language exam, but not the Kenntnisprüfung. So for a lot of people, maybe it seems that appointing the Gutachter is easier because you don't do exams, but you just take one exam. Appointing a legal professional Gutachter. I personally didn't do this method, but what I heard is that statistically from Lebanon, the chances are low of direct approval. The other problem is that you should translate the whole curriculum of the university to German, from the first till the 7th medical years. All the subjects, all the contents should be translated, and that's a lot of papers. Then the time frame that the Gutachter gives you a response is from 6 months to 1 year, could be more. The costs are relatively high, at least 550 euros, could reach 1,500, maybe more, maybe less. I don't really know. It's very dependent. It's case dependent. So that's the path usually gets taken by Lebanese doctors wishing to come to Germany. There is the classic procedure with Defizitbescheid. It's the procedure that I did. So giving the papers without the curriculum. Time to study the file is state dependent, but average it's between 3 to 4 months. It can take 1.5 months when it's really very quick till 12 months. So it's very dependent on the load of applications on that time and the federal state also. The cost is around, of the Defizitbescheid is around as fast as I remember, between 100 and 200 euros. So it's much less costly than the first procedure. Then the responsible authority is going to issue a Defizitbescheid, which is a report about deficits. This Defizitbescheid is very important because this report, It's not an equivalence, but it's the document that you need to apply for the visa for doctors. In this report about deficits, they are going to write that they studied your application, that your diploma is not equivalent to the German one because you don't have the language course, the level C1 in medicine that is required. And they're going to write that your Lebanese diploma is not equivalent to the German one, so you need to take 2 exams. The next step would be to take this deficit Bescheid to apply for the visa at the German embassy in Beirut. As I applied in 2018, the name of the visa was 17A. Nowadays, it's named 16D. For this visa, you have to fulfill requirements, and among them, deficit Bescheid, your medical diploma with the grades, so all the grades always from 1st to 7th year, a German language certificate B1 and above, but you need B2 for the approbation, so it would be better to have a B2. And you should also book a medical language course in Germany. It is a requirement for the visa, and you should prove that you have money to stay in Germany. Because when they give you the visa for equivalence, you would be staying between 1 to 2 years in Germany not working. And then the embassy is gonna require around 800, I guess 50 or 60 euros per month for a period of 1 to 2 years. So if you do the math, it's 850 multiplied by 12 till 24. And according also to the bank account, they are gonna give you the visa. The processing time for the visa is starting 3 to 4 months usually in the German embassy. And then you have your visa, you arrive to Germany as a doctor, then you complete your already booked language course, C1 medicine, and then you're gonna apply for the Fachsprachenprüfung, it's the medical language exam. So taking the exam, succeeding, and then you obtain a temporary work permit, and it's the Berufserlaubnis. You still don't have the Approbation, but you have a temporary work permit. With this permit, you are state limited. So for example, if you get it from Saxony, you have only to work in Saxony. Most states don't consider the training as part of your residency program. So you work, but it's not counted as PGY 1 or 2. And the salary may differ between the states or between the other doctors with Approbation. And then your aim is to do the Approbation. So with Berufserlaubnis, you are eligible to apply for the medical knowledge exam, Kenntnisprüfung. The waiting time to do the exam is between 6 months to 2 years. It's also very depending of how many people are applying, of the federal state. After passing this test, your diploma will be equivalent to that of the German diploma and of any other EU country. So characteristics, your work permit is no longer state dependent. You can work all over Germany, and the years of practice are part of your residency program, and you're gonna be paid like your German colleagues. So the residency program characteristics. When you have your Berufserlaubnis or your Approbation, you are eligible to do your residency in Germany. Your contact here is not universities like in Lebanon or in other countries. It is directly the hospitals. You either contact the chief doctor of the department where you want to do your residency or the human resources department of the hospital. And you write in which department you want to do your residency. So that's a very important point. Second, the academic year can start any day of the year and you get promoted on that same day the next year. So it's not in Lebanon that you begin in July or in September your residency year. It can be any time of the year. 3, the uncounted residency years with Berufserlaubnis still count as experience. So they are not like lost years. And the residency in Germany, you are named Assistenzarzt or Arzt in Weiterbildung. It's very important to know that in Germany, the working language is German. It's the language that you speak in it with doctors, with patients, with everyone. So for the people thinking that with English they can do a residency program or they can start working, that's not possible. As So when you begin your residency, you are eligible of obtaining another residency permit, and it's the EU Blue Card. It has a lot of advantages, and you can just read them online or you can ask about them. And to note that the average starting salary in Germany per month for residents is usually around 4,400 euros brutto, and it is without duties. And what you get netto is 2,650 euros netto without duties. With duties, it's usually around 3,000, 3,100. It's also depending on how many duties you do per month. So that's it about doing your equivalence and getting approbation coming to Germany. So thank you so much for listening. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer your questions. Okay.
And now we will be having a special intervention from Dr. Karim Najab. He got his medical degree from Université de Picardie Jules Verne in France, and later on he moved to Germany to continue his medical training. He is now an orthopedics and traumatology fellow in Klinik Fichtelgebirge in Marktredwitz, Germany. Dr. Naja, can you please tell us more about your experience as a Lebanese who got his medical degree in France and then moved to Germany?
خير، مرحبا. احكي بالعربي بحس احيانا من الانجليزي لانه صار لي فتره مني احكي انجليزي. فانا كريم نجا تخرجت من درست بعد البكالوريا رحت من لبنان على فرنسا، وبعدين بفرنسا عملت كل الايتود دو ميديسين تبعوني، وبعدين اشتغلت بفرنسا سنتين. هو صراحه بفرنسا السيستم انه بعد 6 سنين دراسه بعدين بيكون في كونكور، وباخر الكونكور الواحد بينقي السبيشاليتي تبعيته. يعني نحن كنا 8000 وشيء، ومثلا اول واحد هو اللي بيوصل بياخذ مثلا بوزيشن نمرو 1 اول واحد، هو مثلا بيصير بينقي شو بده يعمل. وانا كان الريف تبعي التراوم تبعي بالالماني انه اعمل اورثوبيدي يعني جراحه عظم. بسبب هذا الكونكور النيميروس كلوزيوس اللي هو بفرنسا انا رحت على المانيا. هلا الفرق بالسيستم بين السيستم الفرنسي والسيستم الالماني انه بالسيستم الفرنسي انه مثل ما قلت انه بعد 6 سنين بيكون في كونكور، بيكون في محلات محدده. يعني مثلا هن بيقولوا بدهم بكل فرنسا 50 جراح قلب، بباريس بدهم 2، بليل بدهم 1. انه هن عارفين بعد 7 سنين بدهم انه يكونوا عاملين انه جراح قلب لون فورمي يعني بعد 5 سنين. اما بالمانيا سيستم كثير مختلف، لانه هنيك الواحد بيروح هو حسب السي في تبعه شو دارس وشو عامل وشو بيشتغل، بيروح على المستشفى il se présente انا هيك انا عامل هيك، بيعمل انتروتيان وبعدين بيقبلوه. في كثير فروقات بين السيستم الفرنسي والسيستم الالماني، يمكن كمان بالسيستم اللبناني كمان. الفرق في كثير فروقات، اهم شيء اول شيء الستاتيو. بفرنسا بيكون على طول في ستاتيو انه واحد اتيديون هو لحديت ما حتى يخلص ويعمل تيز بيضل اتيديون. اما بالمانيا هو دغري بيصير معه اقامه انه واحد عم يشتغل بيصير سالاري. هيدي كثير بتفرق يعني حتى لبعدين، حتى الواحد اذا بده يشتري بيت سياره لازم هو. بعدين بالمعاش في فرق معاش يعني دوبل مثل ما ذكر خي شربل يعني بين فرنسا وبين المانيا. وبعدين في شغله كثير مهمه انه بفرنسا لما الواحد مثلا بفوت بالسيستم عم يتخصص اختصاص محدد، عارف حاله بعد 5 سنين او 6 سنين حسب السبيشاليتي بيخلص، هو عارف حاله خلص صار انه ميدسان سبيشاليست. اما بالمانيا الواحد بيجي بيمضي كونترا، مثلا انا سبيشاليتي تبعتي هي 6 سنين، فانا مدي كونترا 3 سنين مثلا، لانه هن عندهم فيني يعملوا لي فورماسيون 3 سنين، بعدين لازم ارجع ادور على كونترا ثاني بغير مستشفى لحتى اقدر اعبي. انا عندي مثلا كتالوج بلوك اوبيراتوار شو انا عامل عمليات، اخر شيء لازم اعبيه تقدر بعدين اعمل فحص الاختصاص. اما مثلا بفرنسا ما في فحص اختصاص. هيدا الفرق كثير مهم. يعني في الواحد مثلا هون بضل بالمانيا كل حياته بس ارتس ان بيلدونج، يعني بس انه عم يتخصص، يعني هو لانه شغل لانه بيروف لانه شغل منه واحد تلميذ في دل كل حياته واحد عمره 60 سنه بس السنه عم يتخصص لانه هو صار شغل. هيدا يعني كثير اختلاف كثير كبير عن فرنسا وعن لبنان، لانه هون بالمانيا هن ما بدهم كثير ميدسان سبيشاليست، ما بدهم كثير عالم متخصصين، بدهم عالم عم يتخصصوا يعني حتى يعملوا جاردات حتى يساعدون وهيك. هن يعني مثلا بالمستشفى هون عندي يمكن نحن مثلا شي 7 8 هن يمكن عندهم كاباسيتي يعملوا فورماسيون ل3 4، حتى يصيروا مثلا فخ ارتس انه خلص مخلصين بالاخير. هيدي هي بروبلماتيك هون بالمانيا، فالواحد بيصير على طول بده يغير مستشفى ليقدر يخلص اللي لازم يخلص. بفرنسا هي دغري خالصه. فانا بفرنسا خلصت قلت 6 سنين، بعدين اشتغلت سنتين بفرنسا، اشتغلت بالارجنس بالسيرفيس اندوكرينولوجي. هونيك تعرفت على الدكتور علي حدادي، بوجه له تحيه كثير كبيره، اللي هو البريزيدنت تبعت السوسيتي واللي كمان ساعدني وقدم لي دعم. وهيك يعني. فانا هلا هون ثاني سنه بجراحه العظم، هسه بقي 4 سنين، هي الفورماسيون كلها 6 سنين. باخر 6 سنين لازم اكون انا مخلص 6 سنين كوقت، بيكون عندي كمان اوبي كتالوج انه انا شو عامل عمليات. اذا مثلا عمل 10 بروتيز ركبه، 10 بروتيز هوفته، يعني كذا بروتيزات كذا عمليات، وبعدين في بريفونج في فحص بعد 6 سنين بدي اقدمه بالنقابه، وعلى اساسه انا بصير معي دبلوم انه انا خلصت السبيشاليتي تبعيتي. هي الفورماسيون هون بالمانيا، في لها كثير مميزات وفي لها كثير سلبيات. يمكن السلبيه الاساسيه تبعتها انه واحد ما بيعرف حاله امتى بالتحديد بده يخلص، بده يكون هيك شوي ذكي وفلهوي وعنده كونتاكتات يعني، وحتى خصوصا بالجراحه لحتى يخلوه يكون كاوبيراتور اساسي هو يقدر يشتغل وهيك. بحس الادفانتاج الاساسي تبع المانيا انه واحد في يعمل الاختصاص اللي بده اياه اذا عنده سي في منيح ومشتغل وهيك. ففي يجي انه والله واحد حلو يصير جراح دماغ او جراح قلب، انه كله بوسيبل يعني هون بالمانيا. بس المشكله انه الوقت يمكن في عالم تخلص على 40 سنه 45 سنه 35 سنه، ما في وقت محدد يعني لحتى يقدر الواحد يخلص. بس انه مثل ما قلت بعدين انه كمعاش كهاستابيليتي انه بالاقامه، انه مش اتيديون مثل بفرنسا، هي لحالها بتعطي يعني ريحه نفسيه يعني. فالواحد انه كمان بحاجه يطلع مسار يعني لو قد ما طولت انه يقدر مثلا يعيش، يقدر يعيش غيره. فهي الاكسبيرينس تبعتي. ما بعرف اذا عندكم بعدين اسئله او شيء بخصوص المانيا وبخصوص الفورماسيون، يمكن بالجراحه بشكل خاص يعني اذا مهتمين بهذا.
Dr. Karim, just one question. Can you tell us a little bit more? Did you have to go through the procedure that Dr. Habis went through for the equivalence of your diploma? Or it was very short because of the fact that you came from France?
هلا الفرق بس بين شاربل انه ما في ابروباسيون، انه انا ما بدي اعمل فحص الكينتنس بروفونج. يعني قصدي انه انا لازم يكون معي النيفو اللانجاج الالمان سي 1 ميديكال، لازم اعمل فحص بالنقابه، فحص لغه وفحص بيكون هو طبي بس مبني اكثر شيء على اللغه. بس اخر شيء ما عندي فحص كونيسانس. يعني انا قطعت بكذا مرحله، عملت البي 2 بالمانيا، بعدين عملت السي 1 ميديكال، بعدين الفحص الكونيسانس ما عملته. يعني قبل الفحص الكونيسانس الواحد يقدر ياخذ مثل ما قال شاربل سنتين انه اوتوريزاسيون بروفيزوار لحتى يقدر يشتغل. فانا دغري اخذت الابروباسيون، ما اخذت هيل بروف الاوبنس. يعني هذا بس كان الادفانتاج الوحيد اللي انا سهلت لي، يعني انه انا دارس بالاي او بالاتحاد الاوروبي يعني. ما بقدم الفحص الكونيسانس، يعني فحص المعلومات اللي انا اخذتها، بس فحص اللغه، فحص بالنقابه وتسجلت بالنقابه.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Naja. We have a question for Dr. Habis. You stated that in your presentation that to apply for a long stay visa in Germany, we should open a bank account in Germany with an amount of 850 euros per month. Does that mean that we should be present personally in Germany to open this account in the bank? So we should get a Schengen visa first, go to Germany to open the account, and then later on apply for the long-term visa. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Okay, for the bank account that I mentioned, you have the two options. If you have the opportunity of coming to Germany to open it here directly by a bank in Germany, then you can do that. But if you don't have the opportunity because of costs of traveling or you don't have a Schengen visa, then you can also do it from Lebanon. I think there are many options that the information could be read on the website of the embassy. But the easiest way that I did was from Lebanon to open a virtual bank account. There are some virtual bank accounts that are recognized by the German embassy. You can retrieve the names from the website. And then you contact this bank and you send them the money, and then they send you the confirmation that we have blocked this amount in our bank in Germany, and then you can prove this to the embassy. And when you come to Germany, they will reimburse you the money.
So we have a question for Dr. Habis. Mr. Karaki, Mr. Ali Karaki is asking. He's asking about what if we had an ECFMG certificate, which is the Educational Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates, and if it allows to get an equivalence directly with this certificate.
It's the one for USA, right? ECFMG?
Yes.
Okay. Unfortunately, no. In Germany, only the German diploma is required. And whether the diploma is from Lebanon or from the United States of America or from Australia, it doesn't matter. Then the person should do the procedure of equivalence. What helps is having a diploma from the EU, like Dr. Karim had, because from the EU, it is easier and you should only do the medical language exam and not doing the medical knowledge exam, Kenntnisprüfung. Outside of the EU, all the countries are the same. So you should do normally the equivalence procedure.
Okay, so the complete procedure you present.
Exactly. If your diploma is only recognized in Lebanon, if it's also ECFMG from the United States of America, it's the same. It doesn't matter here.
Okay. We also have a question. Someone is asking about the bank account. Can the bank account be from another European country other than Germany, or it has to be a bank account in Germany with the blocked amount of money?
I don't really know. As far as I know, it should be in Germany, a German bank account. If they accept EU bank accounts, I think then that should be the German embassy in Beirut should be directly asked.
Maybe Dr. Karim knows better
أنا بعرف
about this.
القضية لقالي يعني هو كان عنده حساب بفرنسا ومن الجزائر يعني جاي بعتقد إنه بيمشي الحال.
Okay.
So it has to be a European bank account.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we have one more question from Naham Bassi. She's asking, can we get medical German language courses in Lebanon and then pass the test in Germany later on?
I don't think, or I don't know that there are now German medical courses offered in Lebanon at the level of C1. I don't think, from my time in Lebanon, there was no such courses. The problem is, if you want to come to Germany with a visa for doctors, with this type of visa, then you need to do a language course here. It's a requirement of the visa. So if you already do it in Lebanon, if it's present in Lebanon, I don't know, then you should do another language course here. It is a requirement of the visa.
Okay. So now we will move for our last speaker for tonight, Dr. Marwan-Julien Sleiman. So Dr. Sleiman graduated from the Faculty of Medicine in Targu Mures in Romania. He then proceeded to his surgery training in France and moved then to Switzerland. He is now a medical intern in general surgery at Hôpitaux Universitaires de Genève. So Dr. Sleiman, we're all ears.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. I will present you today the residency in Switzerland. So first, we'll start with a little introduction about Switzerland. We have to know that Switzerland is a country of Central Europe. It's organized in 26 cantons, which are independent regions of each other. They have their own government, their own elections, their own law. And they are all reunited in one confederation, the Swiss Confederation, with Bern as a federal capital. There is 4 official languages in Switzerland: the French, the German, the Italian, and the Romansh. we have to be aware that Switzerland is not a part of the European Union, but it has bilateral agreement with the European Union, and the Swiss diploma is recognized inside Europe as much as the European diploma are recognized in Swiss. So how is working the residency in Switzerland? It's not linked to any university or to a hospital. It's linked to the ESFM, the Swiss Institute for the Medical Formation. And basically, you have to prepare your file for postulation with a CV, motivational letter, any formation you already did, or any publication, and you send it directly to the department where you are interested, for the head of service or for the chief of the commission. To follow residency in Switzerland, you will need to go through specialties through the ESFM. I put you the link where you will have all the list of the different specialty, and for each specialty there will be the scheme that you will need to follow in order to validate your diploma. Later, I will present you a practical example so you can understand better. The hospital here are divided in different categories. Basically, it is 4. You have the more big ones, the university hospital, the A category, where you can make recognize 4 to 3 years. You have the big hospital where you recognize for residency 2 to 3 years, the C1 where you can do 1 year, and the D1 where you can do this 6 months. Here I put you the link of the different register for all the hospital recognized for the formation in Switzerland, and you have different filters. You can choose the region you want, the specialty you want, and the category of the hospital you want, and it will appear all the list of the hospital in Swiss with the different name of a chief of department, of chief of commission, where you have to send your file. So I will take an example for general surgery. Basically, you go on the first link, you choose general surgery, and they explain you how will be followed the formation. You have to do 6 years, where inside you have to do minimum 2 years in a hospital, and then minimum 1 year in a B hospital, where you have to change minimum once in your residency hospital. And inside, they explain you here exactly what you have to do. Like here, for example, you have to do 45 to 69 months of clinical surgery. You have to do 6 months of emergency and 6 months of intensive care. And then you have 24 months of option where basically you can do orthopedics or cardiac surgery to validate some other classes. Next to this, you need to validate other formation which are compulsory, and they are all explained too in the scheme of your specialty of your choice. You have to have at least 1 publication as a first author. You have to do the validation of different formation, ACLS for internal medicine, ATLS for surgery, radio protection class, publication. You have a residency written exam. This is compulsory for every specialty. We have to be careful if it's different than the federal medicine exam that I will develop later for the recognition of the diploma. This residency exam, you will have to do it during your first 2 years of residency. It's usually a multiple choice. You have to assist to a minimum number of congress. Usually it's 1 per year, and it has to be a national or an international congress. And for surgery, you have to validate a catalog of intervention. It's a minimal number of each intervention of each specialty to be able after to get your diploma, your specialization diploma. How you will do to make your Lebanese diploma be recognized? So you will have to contact what we call here the MEBECO. This is the official commission for recognition of foreign diploma. I put you on the slide the link where you will have directly the post address, the mail address, and the way to send it or through the post or through internet. You have to prepare a file with your CV, your motivation letter, the Lebanese diploma, a copy of your identity card or passport, a scope of practice from Lebanon, and attestation of minimal exigency of practice. We have to be aware that all this has to be officially translated in one of the 4 official languages. So it can be French, German, or Italian. You will have to redo the federal medicine exam because you're outside of Europe. This federal medicine exam is the exam here they do at the end of the 6 years of medicine in university. But in function of your experience, you're not compulsory to do it, all of it. Here, it is done in two parts. You have the theoretical part and the practical exam. If you wish to come directly after the university, you will have to do the theoretical and the practical. But if you come after 2 or 3 years of residency and you have some experience, they will only ask you to do the theoretical part, because it's nonsense to do the practical exam where basically it's just to do a little clinical examination and anamnesis where you already have 2, 3, 4 years of experience. Then you will have to register at the MedRec. It's a register where they do a register of all the foreign doctors from all the world. It's just administrative and it costs an average of 150 francs Swiss, so it's 160 euro. And here you must be able to talk one of the 4 official languages at the level between B2 to C1 in function of the hospital and the region. Every hospital has its own request about the language. So what is the quality of the Swiss system compared to others? So here we have a high quality of formation. We have a pretty good level of life with a good salary. And all the hospitals are modern with good equipments and good professors. They respect a lot the working hours law. So if you do a night shift, you have all your day off after. And here they are really, they give importance to respect this. And because the postulation are directly to the head of department, directly to the department, you have the capacity to choose the specialty, compare, as we talked before with Dr. Karim, that there is not this numerus clausus like in France, where you are blocked by the result of your written exam. But the disadvantage is that you have to do your formation on your own. You have to postulate every year to different hospitals to fulfill all the schemes that you need to do. So you can get the first contract in a category B hospital. Then after 1-2 years, you need to move to go to the A hospital and the university hospital. And here it's difficult to access this because Swiss is a little country and there is very few university hospitals. Just for the French region, there is only 2, Genève and Lausanne, compared to Paris, where there is 13 hospitals, university hospital only in Paris. So we have to be aware that it's difficult to fulfill the university formation, and you have to do it on your own to always postulate to different hospitals. And what is difficult too for the surgery part is that you have to fulfill the catalog with a minimum number of intervention. And because Swiss is a little country, there is not the same number of operations than in France or in Germany. So the access to the number of operations is a bit blocked too. And there is this possibility to start a formation without finishing it or taking 6, 7, even 10 years to be able to finish it in or to fulfill the catalog. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any question, we are available.
Thank you, Dr. Sleiman. So I'll start with the first question, just to clarify a small point. So the student must choose the region in Switzerland according to the language that he knows, not that the 4 languages are equally spoken in all over the country.
No, exactly. They have to choose the region where the language is spoken. So you have all the what we call the Romandie, where here they talk French. It's basically from Genève till Sion. After Sion, they start to talk German. So if they postulate in Bern, in Zurich, they will have to be able to talk German. And if they postulate in Lugano, where there is a university hospital, here it's Italian.
Okay.
But if they speak both, if someone speaks French and German, they can start in the French region and continue in the German or the Italian regions. All the year are recognized everywhere. After, it's on your own capacity to talk as much as you can language.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sleiman.
Okay, Dr. Sleiman, another question. Since you stated that the fellowship is not affected to any university or any hospital, how do we get the diploma of the specialty? Where do we get it from? And what marks the end of the medical training? Since there is no boundaries, there are no rules, since we're not affected to anything.
So you have the ESFM, which is giving this scheme. So for internal medicine, 2 years in a university hospital, 2 years in a B hospital. At the end of your contract, because the hospital gives you a work contract, but a limited for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years, you have an evaluation with your chief of service, with the head of the department, and they write that you fulfill this objective as requested by the ESFM, the Institute for Formation, and they stamp it. And once you, on your own, you did all your scheme. So I have my 2 years in the university hospital, I have my 2 years in the B hospital. With this evaluation stamped by each chief of department recognized, you go, you give the file at the ESFM, they read everything, they checked everything, and after they send you back the diploma of your specialty. And of course, you have to send the written papers that you passed this written residency written exam. And you basically create your whole file, and then you send it. They check that everything is good, and they send you back the diploma in exchange.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sleiman. So Mr. Walid Alam is asking about if can you do the federal exam without experience in Switzerland? He's saying that Mebeco seemed to suggest that you need like 3 years of clinical experience in Switzerland first.
So you can do you're not compulsory to do the Mebeco exam directly after your university. You can start to work without the recognition of the diploma, but during the first 2 years, in function of the law of each region, you have to do this equivalency. Okay. But more you do it earlier, more it's an advantage for your CV, because you will be in competition with a lot of persons who will come, and a lot of persons from inside Europe come too with a direct equivalencies. So if to the chief of commission or the head of service, you will tell him, I can focus 100% on my job, I don't have to study to do the further exam, it will be an advantage to sell your file more.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Sleiman, a question for you. If someone underwent the approbation process in Germany and would like to then move to Switzerland, start or continue his residency, is the process similar?
Alors he can, it's possible to make recognize the years of Germany in Swiss. Everything goes through the ESFM. You send your file to the ESFM. You told them what you did in Germany, in which hospital, which department you was, what is the size, what is the category of hospital. They will study your case and they will recognize the years. Let's say an example, you did 3 years in a university hospital in Germany. You want to continue in Switzerland. You send your files and they will tell you, okay, on these 3 years, we will recognize 1 year, 2 years, 1.5 years, and you can continue from there. It's really rare that they recognize 100% of the year. Usually it's an average of a half or a 2/3.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sleiman. So we have 2 practical questions. The first one is, are we able to subspecialize in Switzerland after getting our specialty diploma in Lebanon?
This is possible, yes. And the specialty diploma, you can make it recognized too through Mebeco. And you have to subscribe to this register for foreign doctor MEDREC. And then you have to postulate to find a job. And here, usually with the hospital, you will do all the visa, the immigration, and it will go through the human resources of the hospital, all the administration paper. I was coming from France, so I had the European diploma, but I just sent my postulation file to the hospital where I started in Monte. I got accepted by the chief of service, and then the human resources did on my name the visa request, all the transfer paper, and I just have to sign everything through the human resources. So it was done like this. So normally it's possible to find a job, and then the human resources will help you in the transition of your paper.
Okay, so a second practical question, since we all ask about salaries and money. So Mr. Nicolas is asking, what is the average salary for a resident in Switzerland?
Alors here too, it's in function it's dependent of each region where you are. But the first year, in average, first year resident will win between 7,000 to 9,000 euro without taxes. It will bring to 6,000 euro, between 5 to 6,000 euro without with the taxes. But we have to know that the price of life here is pretty expensive. Just a little room, a studio, a little one-room apartment, it's already 1,500, 2,000 euro of rent. So you already has 2,000 euro out just by the rent. The restaurant is way more higher compared to Paris. It's 2 or 3 times more expensive, the restaurants, but it's a pretty good quality of life. If you live normally without excess, you can have a good life.
Okay, so I was just going to tell you that Mr. Nicolas will be really happy with this salary, but if you tell me that the life is a bit expensive, so it's
The life is expensive.
key situation. Okay, thank you, Dr. Sleiman.
One more question from Sadiq Jabir. He's asking if we start directly paid residency after getting our acceptance for the residency.
Sorry, I didn't hear from the connection. I had
we have a question. If we start directly paid residency after getting our acceptance in Switzerland, or there is a gap?
No, at the moment you start to work, you have your salary. They give you first a contract of work, a real work contract. You sign it, they sign it, and you can start from 1st of October, and you work for 6 months. You have 6 months of salary at 100%. It's directly after once you sign the contract, you have a contract.
Okay, so we're just waiting if we have more questions for Switzerland. So meanwhile, I just want to say that Mr. Kevin Eid for Germany just told us that, just informed us that there is a German medical language online course offered by GMS. So Charbel was talking about that there's no online courses in Lebanon. So I guess there is one online according to what Mr. Eid said. So we just have to make sure of the information.
Okay.
Just see how to get the registration.
It's good to know that, because in my time as I came in 2018, there was still no German medical courses in Lebanon. But as I said, for the visa, I guess it's still required to have another course here. That's the problem.
Okay. We just have another question from Mr. Alam for Switzerland. So for Dr. Sleiman, Mr. Alam is asking if it's possible to get fellowships specifically in cardiology, for example, after 3 years of internal medicine in Lebanon. So if he had like 3 years, according to the American system in AUB or LAU or wherever, if he's able to do a cardiology fellowship right after the internal medicine residency in Lebanon.
Theoretically, it is possible. After the postulation will be the same on CV with a motivation letter and all his files directly to the Department of Service. And then if he get an interview, he has to explain his project, why he wants to do this cardiology, if he just want to do a few years in Switzerland to get a cardiologist experience to come back to Lebanon. It's a good advantage, because they like a lot to do this fellowship. So why not? It's directly what you will agreed with the chief of service. So why he take you, for which objective, why you postulate, and so yes, it's clearly possible.
With all the procedures that you've already
Alors, Yes, so he has to send his postulation file to the head of departments, and if he has accepted, he will have to do his MEBECO, the recognition of diploma, and to work even on a limited time.
Okay.
But he can ask, I think we can see through the ESFM if he talk with them, and if he clearly tells them that it's in between a fellowship and an exchange, maybe he doesn't have to redo the federal exam. If it's really temporarily for 1 or 2 years and he will go back to Lebanon, maybe he can ask to not have to redo all the exam. I saw this sometimes here in the University Hospital of Geneva, where they send some fellowship and they come back to Lebanon after. And when it's really on a exchange and on a contract, they don't have to redo the federal exam.
Okay, okay, thank you. So we just have a couple of questions about Germany. So we're going to ask Charbel Karim. Mr. Malti is asking if someone can go for a subspecialty in Germany, as we asked in Switzerland, since the training has no time limit, as Charbel said, and you can apply directly to the hospital. So he said that we can assume that it depends on the department you integrate. It's right for the subspecialty.
For the subspecialty in Germany, I think it would be possible if the person also has the Approbation. I don't see any reason not to do it, but I think the Approbation is a requirement. So the German medical license.
Karim, do you have something to add about this?
بصراحة بس ما رجعت فهمت السؤال بس معك مظبوط هذا شو صار.
Mr. Malti was asking about the subspecialty in Germany. So عم بيشوف شوي إذا it's directly related to the department يعني إذا بتشوف مع chief of department directly or إنه it has to be a complicated procedure.
اللي هي بس المشكلة الأساسية بس الأبروباسيون واللغة يعني. الواحد بدل ما معه ابروباسيون بعدين بيصير يدور بكل المانيا بكل المستشفيات بيقدم عليهم بيقدم CV بيعمل انترفيو انترفيو وبعدين بينقبل يعني هي بس العقبه الاساسيه بس الابروباسيون.
اوكي هو كان قصده لانه كان ات بوينت بيحكي عن ما في انه ما في ليميت ما في ليميت معينه بالفورمات.
انا قلت ما في ليميت بالنسبه لفرنسا كنت عم قارن انه بفرنسا الواحد بفوت بالسيستم عارف حاله مثلا بعد 5 سنين بيخلص مثل يمكن بلبنان باليو اس جي او بالاي بيز عم يتخصص. اما بالمانيا بيعمل كونترا على 2 3 وبعدين بده يعبي مثلا اوبي كتالوج شو يعمل عمليات شو يعمل قصص يعني هالقصص يمكن تاخذ اكثر من 5 سنين يمكن 10 سنين. هي المشكله يعني.
Okay.
About subspecialties, يعني هون the main point is to have the language and the approbation and then you can do anything you want.
Okay, we have one more question for Dr. Habis. If we already have a B2 certificate, how much time do we need in average from graduating from a medical school in Lebanon until we start working as an arts and
to work as an artist in Weiterbildung or a medical residence, if you are already graduated plus you have your B2, then you have to apply for the approbation and to apply for your visa. So as I said, when you come to Germany, so the visa takes like around 3 to 4 months, and then you come to Germany, and then you have to wait to have an appointment for your exams. For the first exam, you should wait also 3 to 4 months, and then you do your Fachsprachenprüfung or the medical language exam, and then you can work. So it's very dependent. I would say like after graduating, when you already have your B2, from 6 months to 1 year, you can start working.
Now a question for Dr. Sleiman again between the transfer from Germany to Switzerland as a follow-up question. Aside from getting some years from Germany transfer to Switzerland, do we still have to take the exam in Switzerland?
It depends if you, for the university, you had a German exam, or if you have a Lebanese exam which was recognized in Germany. We have to see if Switzerland consider it as a German exam or go back to the original one as a Lebanese exam. But if on the German part it's recognized as a German and you can go everywhere in Europe, so normally it will be recognized as a European one and you can go directly to Switzerland. It will depend how recognized it Germany, and if they give you a paper that now it's a German diploma, so it's direct.
Okay, so I was going to ask the question of Rana Azuri, which is about the same subject. So meaning all European Union countries accept all European Union diplomas everywhere in Europe.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
There is not anymore a French diploma, German diploma, Portuguese diploma. With the European Union, well, of course you have it in French in German, but it's a European diploma basically, and you can go do your residency in any country of the other, but you have to follow the procedure of postulation, which is specific to each country.
Exactly. And in Germany, the EU diplomas are also recognized, but you should do the German medical exam. The language one, sorry, the German medical language exam. And then it's easier to get the Approbation as non-EU diplomas.
Okay, so Mrs. Khwairi, Maria Khwairi is asking Dr. Sleiman, even after getting the MEBECO, do we need to do a federal exam to validate the medicine diploma?
The MEBECO will ask you to do the federal exam. It's the MEBECO who will tell you, for you, you have to do the federal exam to give you your recognition. But in function of your experience, they will tell you if you do only the theoretical part or if you have to do the theoretical and the practical part. This will depend on your experience and on your CV.
Okay. So we're waiting if we have more questions for Switzerland or Germany. So we just for clarification for people on YouTube, if there is any redondance, we will not ask the same questions many times. So we ask you to check the rerun of the webinar on YouTube, so you can have answers for all your questions if there is any redondance between questions. Or you can also check the ELMS website for all the clarifications and to get all the answers for your questions. So we have no more questions, I guess.
So at the end of this fourth orientation webinar, I would like to thank our speakers, Dr. Habis, Dr. Naja, and Dr. Sleiman for their helpful presentations. We thank you all also for attending this webinar, and we really hope that we met your expectations. And now that you have registered to this webinar, you will automatically be registered to the next one, which will be announced very soon, since we still have many more countries in Europe to visit. If you have any further question, like Elias just said, don't hesitate to visit the Q&A section on the ELMS website on eurolibanese.org, where you can also watch the rerun of this webinar, have access to all the past presentations, and you can also watch the presentation on the YouTube channel that you are connected to now. So thank you everyone for your participation, and goodbye.